Hey, welcome to Heroes 8. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we're going to be talking about the J.J. Abrams deal with Warner Brothers and Warner Media.
Yeah, Bad Robot's going to get 500 million by the looks of it.
Yeah, which is a nice payday for them.
It sounds big, and then you're like, oh, well, it's only $500 million. And that makes it sound even bigger.
Yeah, it really does. So, don't forget that we release movies. I keep saying movies. We release episodes every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT time.
No harm, we aspire to be movie makers someday. Probably not ones that release on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Check us out, hit like, subscribe, and all that good stuff so we can make movies someday. So, JJ and his Warner Media hookup, what could it mean?
So, this could mean a lot of things. It is one of the major shots fired in the, which I'm going to call this, in the streaming war that is currently going on. Yeah, it's a really good...
Yeah, when you paint it in the landscape of Netflix changing the game and everybody else scrambling to catch up, and now Disney about to come in with a big, massive... they're bringing a machine gun to a knife fight with their Disney Plus and their back catalogue. So Warner are obviously... They're prepping to have big hitters on their bench as well.
Yeah, and J.J. Abrams is a pretty big hitter. He's already developed shows like Fringe and Alias and stuff like that in the past, and now he's currently producing Westworld for Warner Media's HBO.
Yeah, and he's part of the production for Lovecraft Country, which you brought up in a previous video.
You can check it out right here.
Right over
there. Is it right here?
Yeah, right there. It could be right everywhere. So he's got TV bona fides. He has got the TV CV or a resume. I think movie-wise, his resume is maybe not as strong, but he has still been part of so many massive franchises. You can check out stuff to do with his directorial work right here. Coincidental, we swear to God it was coincidental.
Very, very good. His directorial kind of thing is not a large library, but his production, the things that he's produced and stuff like that for film is quite large.
Yeah.
So like... It is a good move by Warner Media to get him on the bench, especially with the Paramount contract being up.
Well, yeah, and when you think about it, it really is an important time for them in so many ways, because part of Warner Media is the DC stuff, so the DC EU, or Extended Universe as it used to be called. You've got the Monsterverse, which is now Godzilla, King Kong, etc.
Yeah.
What else do they have in their stable of big franchises?
Oh, they have. You said Harry Potter.
They have Potter.
The Matrix.
Yeah, Matrix is a possibility. So they've got things. If we specifically look at maybe the DCEU right now, they are looking for a Kevin Feige type figure. So Kevin Feige, for those who don't know, is the godfather behind the Marvel revolution or takeover or domination, whatever way you want to look at it, for the last 10 years. Are Warner thinking that J.J. Abrams is the man to kind of take that mantle for them, do you think?
I think so. Like, if there's anyone to kind of like see the sense in like a slow burn of your movies and build that stuff up, and because I've been saying it for a while, you need to introduce your characters, make them loved, and then bring them together in a big kind of like, crescendo of a movie and stuff, which is what the Marvel Universe did. But DCC ran to the finish line, sprinted to the finish line, and then died right at the end and scraped, and then it didn't even pass the line.
Yeah, they got a bit hungry a little bit quick and started taking off big bites. There is... A lot of people are going to be going in the comments saying, well, if you look at J.J. Abrams as a director, he was involved in the rebirth of the Star Trek franchise and did a great job with the first movie, and then things tapered off. Then he was involved in Star Wars, which everybody rightly says is just a remake of the first film in some ways, which is fine. He had to do that. I'm a defender of that approach because they had to get Star Wars back on track. But the argument will be made, has he ever been involved in a franchise that's gone on a completely upward trajectory? And what I say to that is, it doesn't matter, because he's not going to be directing everything. And as a producer, what better person to have learned the lessons than to have learned it with arguably two of the biggest franchises? He's going to have done another Star Wars film too.
Yeah.
So he's learning something that nobody else in the industry is going to have learned.
Yeah, no, though very much so. He's learned, like, there's always with the Star Trek things, like they introduce a new version of the crew and everything, but they built that up in a way that you got to learn all the new characters and everything, and they changed it slightly enough that everyone still recognized their favorite characters, but also like saw the differences. It wasn't until, like, I think they got to the point where it's just like, oh, this is brand new stuff. And we really need to, like, instead of, like, they made it more actiony rather than Star Trek-y.
They didn't have a good long-term trajectory planned, I don't think, and that did leave them down. It let them down, so that means he's going to have learned that lesson.
Yeah.
So anything that you can pull him apart for, and I'm not his biggest fan by a long shot. The man has done some wrong by me. He really has. But I actually think this is a clever move.
Yeah.
Because of all the disciplines they have to cover, his resume, or CV as we'd call it, covers an awful lot of this stuff. And his failures are probably more important than his successes.
True. But we also can't, it's not just him.
No, it's the whole Bad Robot
Production
powerhouse.
Yeah. So, like, that's also a good thing, because the Bad Robot production have done some great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, although we might find that, some of the J.J. Abrams, like, movies and stuff like that have been shaky, we also don't forget that it's his team will be also behind him and taking on it, and these are the guys who've also brought, like, a lot of really good shows, because, like, we're talking about the DC universe a lot, but you got to think about, like, there's a lot of TV shows that they can bring out and stuff that they can also play with.
And to compete in streaming, they need that. They need to have that
original
influx of original content. And let's face it, it's a lot like sport. Sometimes you hire a manager, and it's not necessarily what the manager does. It's the fact that they're there, that other players will then sign on to play for that team.
Yeah.
I hate that analogy, but it's all I had.
No, that's very true. You got J.J. Abrams, and you're probably going to get, like, well, Spielberg. I think Spielberg and J.J. Abrams are pretty friendly together.
Yeah, they are.
So I think you might have, like, and if you have Spielberg, then you'll probably have Tom Hanks.
Yeah, oh, he's
like,
gonna,
It just goes along in a big chain of
it's a little
names.
cascading kind of 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon's friends who are powerful.
Yeah.
But the good thing about that for all of us involved is it does mean we've all been worried about domination from one particular. Sir Mickey Mouse is about to take over the entire world. I actually see the other big players strengthening themselves not as a bad thing, because a lot of people are going to go, well, if you have 5 big players, then there's no space for any little ones. No, if you have one big player and 4 other people trying to be the big players, they're going to be the ones sucking up all the talent, killing off all the small ones.
Yeah.
The more healthy studios we have, and healthy across the board studios covering streaming and movies, the better.
Yeah. Well, like, because once again, streaming is also a weird industry in the fact that, like, they also have sectioned off entertainment things.
Yeah.
Like, Netflix is the only place I'm going to be able to get Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Warner Brothers is the only place that I'm going to be able to get Harry Potter and DC. And then, HBO is the only, which is also Warner Brothers, so that's kind of a bad one.
Well,
but, like, Disney is, like, the only place where I'm going to get Marvel. So it's like a weird kind of mix where it's just like...
They're becoming channels.
They're channels, but, like, it's this is the first shot fired that I believe is in the shot of dominance. This is a full broadside of the fact that we're going to make such good unique content and such good new stuff, as well as strengthening our lineup of pre-owned properties.
Yeah.
That this could, this is a very good shot fired
this
across
is
the bow of all the other streaming sites.
And everybody was after him. Like, he was being courted by others, by Apple, etc. But it's the star player signing. And again, I think long term, he'll be good because of his knowledge and his experience. But also, it's not the end. They didn't just pull out 500 million and go, will you fix this? Or will you do it all for us? It's now going to be a case of, you have a production company, you're going to be bringing people, but also just having you here is going to be able to help us siphon people out of our competitors.
Yeah.
So it's going to make for an interesting time. I didn't see this one coming. I'm glad it landed the way it did, because it's going to make it exciting for us. Hopefully we get some great new content on all platforms.
Yeah. Very much so. So, if you comment down below what you think of J.J. Abrams, like, signing on to the which goes Warner Media's roster,
Yeah.
and what do you think also of the arms race that's going on between the streaming services? Are you excited? Like, how many of the streaming services are you currently signed up to? Because I know I'm signed up to 2 already.
And when Disney Plus comes along, I am going to be signed up. There's no point in lying that I'm not going to be.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to sign up to a 4th. That's the thing.
Yeah. So on that note, like, subscribe, comment, share, do the YouTube dance, turn around in your chair. Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm making up rhymes. Thanks for hanging out with us. I have been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
We've been Heroes Out, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.